Why are you here today?
I think I have a problem.
What type of problem?
I basically have this tendency of setting things on fire
When what?
I don't know, it happens when I feel really stressed out with school or really anxious about work. I just feel like I need to do it. Then a few weeks ago, my boyfriend broke up with me, and I don't know why, but I just turned the stove on and started to burn whatever was around me.
So is this a recent problem?
Not at all. As a child, I was always interested in fire. The house I grew up in had a fireplace, and I would spend hours just staring at it. At that age, most children spent hours in front of the TV. I spent hours in front of the fireplace.
Really? So what is your earliest memory of wanting to set things on fire?
Every summer, my family would go camping. There would be this huge fire pit. I was the only kid there most of the time, and while everyone else was mingling with each other, I would throw stuff into the fire and just watch it burn. Then one time, I think I was around 7 or 8, my parents brought along this other family they were friends with, and they had a kid around my age I was supposed to be friends with. So while our parents went off, it was me and her. Don't get me wrong, I didn't have any problems with her, but she did have these really interesting plastic dolls. I wasn't jealous of them or anything, but one morning we were playing with them, and I just felt like throwing her dolls in the fire pit and setting them on fire. So I did.
Do you remember how you felt?
I just remember being so interested as I watched the plastic burning, and it was just such a relief watching it. It felt like it didn't matter that my parents had basically gone on vacation with another family, so I could make a friend.
Would your parents often leave you on your own?
Sometimes. Well, a lot of the times when I was younger, I was an only child who didn't really have a lot of friends. Fire became this interesting thing to me.
How were your childhood friendships?
Yeah, I didn't really have a lot of those growing up. All the other kids basically thought I was weird. I guess they also had a reason for that.
Don't think like that. How are your friendships now?
It's better now. They don't know this whole problem, but I have some pretty close friends now.
That's good. Now can you tell me about the last time you burned something?
Yes, I can. It was last night. I was trying to focus on writing a paper, but I couldn't really think of anything to write. I was dealing with some major writer's block as usual. I really am the worst writer ever since I was a kid. I was essentially stressing out. I always keep a lighter in my desk drawer for times like these. I took that out and started to play with it and watch the flame. Then I had this little Lego man next to me. I'll put it over the fire and watch it burn and melt.
Do you remember how you felt after that? What happened to all the stress you were feeling?
Oh, it was gone. I don't want to say it's a comforting thing, but it really calms me down during stressful times like that. Then other times it's like my brain is in too many places at once, and it's just nice to go get something on fire and watch it burn in the sink or something. It focuses me on life again. It's like a release or just something nice to do.
This is all very interesting. I would like to ask you some more questions.
Sure, of course.
Have you ever burnt anything or injured yourself or others?
Oh, I've burned myself so many times, just never on purpose. It's just one of the hassles of dealing with fire, you know? But I'm always really careful about it. I make sure no one ever gets hurt. That's basically why I'm here. I don't know what I would do with myself if this problem got so out of hand that someone else got hurt because of it. But I'm always prepared in case something does go wrong.
Well, I guess it's comforting. But when you say you get these urges to burn something, do you usually feel the same way before? Like extremely hyperactive, for example?
No, it's not like I can't sit still, so I set things on fire. You know how some people go do yoga or go for a run? I like fires. It's just something I have to do. What do you think is wrong with me?
Well, based on the criteria from the DSM, I think you have some type of impulse control disorder.
What is that?
It's a type of disorder where individuals have issues refraining from urges to do things. In your case, it's lighting fires. I feel like you have pyromania, which is a type of impulse control disorder. It is characterized by a lot of what you've been describing. It is really rare and affects less than 1% of the population, and an even smaller percent start out as children like you. However, pyromaniacs are also responsible for 60% of all arson cases in large cities, and 90% of the disorder appears in males. It also primarily affects Caucasian individuals.
Well, how do we treat it?
There's a variety of approaches to treat this disorder. You can go to cognitive therapy to find the root of your problems that cause pyromania. We could then deal with those issues and change your cognitive processes that lead to the stress that cause you to want to burn things.
That sounds promising.
It usually is, but other than that, we could try to change your behavior by teaching you ways to cope with these urges, or condition you to associate your tendencies with those negative feelings you described earlier. And lastly, if you prefer, I could prescribe you an antidepressant to help you with your emotions during and after your urges.
Do you really think that I can get better?
Of course I do. Fortunately for you, you're still young and the prognosis for people in your age group for this disorder is generally positive. However, you must follow through, keep up with going to therapy, and stay on your medication. With your determination, you could overcome your pyromania.